All right, this is part inspiration and what you can do if you spend 5 years watching Photoshop tutorials. But I took the image that I got from last ChatGPT image creation with the incorrect wine label, misspelled. And, maybe the client said I really like this, but I just want the correct wine bottle, right? Like the client says, this is my professionally done wine bottle, and I want it where this wine bottle is. So in Photopea, you can see I did that. The original image has the wine bottle. Took the eyeballs, clicked on there on the eyeball in the layer panel. And so what I did is I placed the image with Photopea, and then I added a little shadow shading at the bottom. And I did the same thing in Photoshop. So I don't know if you're going to have Photoshop or Photopea, but I'm going to go for it and just follow along. You can try to follow along click by click if you have some experience. But here we go. So first, it was kind of a pain to save my files on my P drive. So I have an account with my Gmail. So it's pretty easy to create a free Photopea account and get some storage on their cloud P drive. And so I'm going to go to Photopea and just actually, I have a little asterisk there because I just did some changes. So to get that asterisk to go away, I can do save to P drive. And then it saves as a PSD Photoshop document. Okay. And so now I'm going to hit reload on Photopea. And I can come over here because I'm logged into my Gmail to my P drive. And I created a folder here, like right click, new folder, control click on a Mac. And you can see there's my demo one. All right, so how did I do that? All right, I got a little trouble opening files with my P drive, but let's see. If I take my PNG on my desktop, my original ChatGPT image, drop it in, it opens as the same file name, .png, thumbnail 3. Now, if I do file, save as PSD, because I want to be working with a layered Photoshop document. I'm on my desktop here, right? You can navigate to where you want your file to show up. It should show up right here on my desktop sidebar, so I could call this, I don't know, demo 4, take 4. All right, good. So I got a PSD now. PSD's on my desktop. And what I found, I mean, you can try driving yourself crazy and saving to your P drive, but what worked for me was to go to the home page, Photopea, come to my P drive. I right-clicked and did a new folder and put some of this stuff in this new folder. Then uploaded my desktop.psd. Gave it a second to process. There it is, demo 4, 9 megabytes. And then double click and it opened. All right, and so now I can work with it, and if I like add a new layer, right, I get a little asterisk next to the file, and I can do file, save, P drive, and the asterisk goes away, and it saves to the cloud. So, all right, so, I guess it's part of growing pains and learning new software, but all right, so let's bring in the wine bottle that we want to composite or put on top, and it came in on the bottom layer, invisible, so I'm going to drag it up. And I'm going to kind of align it here so the stem of the bottle, the top of the bottle, and the bottom of the bottle are centered, and the center goes below the bottom. I'm looking right down here at the bottom. And then I can do a free transform, Command T. So if you don't know where a command is, you can use a magnifying glass and do a free transform. And then click on it. And now I'm in the free transform mode. I can set the little registration point of my transformation bottom center on that tic-tac-toe grid. And then drag up, and the stem gets bigger, and the bottom of the bottle gets covered up. And then I can hit check to apply when I'm happy. The problem is I just have this like gray shading that got brought in that I don't want. So I'm gonna hit spacebar, and then my middle finger, I'm gonna hit Command, click a few times, and then I can switch to my quick selection tool and click to get the marching ants around that gray area I want to delete, and then add a layer mask here in the bottom right. So the layer mask is inverted, so I want white to reveal and black to conceal, and right now black is everywhere and there's just that little bit of white where my selection outline was. So I want to do Command I, or again I want to use the invert command, which is Command I, and then it looks like what I want. So Command 0 to zoom back out, fit on screen, 100%, and we're looking good. Just if you're a perfectionist, so when you do these composites, you want to think about like the tone and the shading, the shadows, the highlights. And you know, ChatGPT did a good job of like adding that shadow behind the bottle. So let's add a little bit on the bottom too, just like how these shoes have a little bit of shadow on the bottom. So I already got a new layer. You can hit a new blank layer in the bottom right. And then I'm going to go to the brush tool here on the left and make sure my foreground is black, so I'm painting with black, and set my hardness to 0 so that I get a nice diffuse soft edge brush. Click out, and then with right bracket, I can hit right bracket a bunch so that my brush is like about the size of that shadow, maybe a little smaller. And then just kind of along that bottom edge, paint black, like where you want your shadow. And it's too big, but I can drop down the opacity so it's not that noticeable. I could change the blend mode, but I think it matches pretty good, the shadow. Right, an expert might put the blend mode to multiply, but not much of a change. So all right, so one more change. I put the black on top of these shadows and highlights in the bottle, so I should drag this layer underneath the bottle, and kind of subtle before and after, but you can see maybe drop down the opacity even more. All right, so again, you can check your before and after. Whoop. All right, so I'm happy with that, and I would do save, right? File, save to P drive, and then I would do file export, and I could get a JPEG on my desktop. It's called demo 4, but that's fine. Save. And it should be on my desktop somewhere in the background, maybe. No, that'd be too easy. Gotta go to my downloads. Here we go. And if you zoom in 100% or more, you can see that the label says Josh Sellers Cabernet Sauvignon, just like the original one. I did get upsampled, so this is kind of blurry, the name of the winemaker, but I think it looks good. So, all right. And right now, because there's no star, if I go to the home page on my P drive, I go to my homepage of Photopea, go to Photopea drive, double click on that folder I created, demo 4 PSD, and I'm right back where I started. Boom. All right, done with Photopea. It's a great online editor, does a lot of the Photoshop basics. You can see it, if you're familiar with Photoshop, then it translates really well. So here's what I did with Photoshop. So I'm gonna just drag this thumbnail onto Photoshop because it's already open in my taskbar, toolbar, my dock. I don't know the right name on OS X Mac. So let's see, let's get the wine bottle in as well. It's saved as a PNG, so here I can just do file, save as, and save it on my desktop as a Photoshop document, not a PNG, so Photoshop file. Thumbnail 3 is fine. There it goes. And I can bring in the wine bottle. And again, look kind of like at the bottom, the center on the stem of the bottle, and then the bottom kind of be a little bit below the bottom of the wine bottle. Do my registration. No, it's not gonna let me set my registration point exactly. I guess I don't have to. I can just drag from the top. Oh, there it was. All right, I just didn't see it right there. Psh. No, okay, just drag from the bottom. All right, so so we're looking good. Hit check to apply, and I want to get rid of that little gray bit at the bottom of the shadow. So when I target this bottle layer, I can just hit remove background, and Photoshop does it really quick. So kind of nice. Photoshop's a little better than Photopea. I could use the quick select tool over here, but it's done, so I'm happy. And then I'm just gonna add the shadow. All right, so here's a little asterisk that says my file's not saved, so I could do file save if I want. Sure. And then it saves and the asterisk goes away. You could also save on your Photoshop cloud space. Okay, let's do a little brush. So new blank layer, bottom right, and get the brush tool. And then make sure your brush is a little smaller than that shadow. And painting with black is your foreground color. And make sure the brush is 0% hardness. Looks good. Click in the gray space. And then add a little soft shadow. And drop the opacity way down. I'm not going to mess with the blend mode this time. You could add a little more if you want to like kind of, I don't know, connect. Still too much, I think. 25. Should be pretty subtle. 10% eyeball before, after. And then drag it below so you're not messing with the bottle. And I'm happy with that, so I can do file, export as, and get a PNG on my desktop. Or just do quick export as PNG, desktop, thumbnail 3, Photoshop. And once again, results, Photoshop, Photopea, just the same. And hopefully, if you do some practice with your Photoshop and your Photopea, you can start doing some fun with Photoshop composites. So I know it's pain first. It's like riding a bike. You got to crash a couple times to learn, but stick with it, and it gets easier over time. And then if you don't have Photoshop, you can just use Photopea to do some basic image editing. All right. Hope you enjoyed that.